This is KSL, your news specialists at 10.
Face to face for the first time tonight as Mitt Romney and President Obama debate in Denver.
We have a team of specialists on the story. Jennifer Staggs following social media. John Daly looks ahead to what happens next. And we begin with Richard Pyatt on what's happening right now in Denver.
Rich, how did the candidates do you think?
Well, Dave and Deanie, if anything, this debate outlined very sharp differences between the two candidates. In online blogs, President Obama is already taking a lot of heat for not being more forceful in this debate. And conversely, a lot of blogs and a lot of sources are citing Mitt Romney as the winner. President Obama and Mitt Romney started with a cordial greeting, each warmly acknowledging the president's wedding anniversary. But the focus quickly turned to the economy, where Romney attacked.
Going forward with the status quo is not going to cut it for the American people who are struggling today.
I believe that we do best when the middle class is doing well.
Romney gained momentum, using the challenger's advantage to attack things like Medicare and government spending.
There has to be revenue in addition to cuts.
The revenue I get is by more people working, getting higher pay, paying more taxes.
There were lighter moments, the two agreeing that the term Obamacare is okay.
Obamacare is on my list. I apologize, Mr. President. I use that term with all respect, by the way.
But the talk about Obamacare was not agreeable. Again, the president on the defensive.
I just don't know how the president could have come into office facing 23 million people out of work, rising unemployment, an economic crisis at the kitchen table, and spent his energy and passion for 2 years fighting for Obamacare instead of fighting for jobs for the American people.
It wasn't just that small businesses were seeing costs skyrocket and they couldn't get affordable coverage even if they wanted to provide it to their employees. It wasn't just that this was the biggest driver of our federal deficit, our overall health care costs, but it was families who were worried about going bankrupt if they got sick.
It all seemed to boil down to leadership, the president enduring a round of criticism.
We need to have leadership in Washington that will actually bring people together and get the job done, and could not care less if it's a Republican or a Democrat. I've done it before, I'll do it again.
Ultimately, part of being principled, part of being a leader is A, being able to describe exactly what it is that you intend to do, not just saying, I'll sit down, but you have to have a plan. Number two, what's important is occasionally you've got to say no.
Both candidates did take on moderator Jim Lehrer in the quest for more time. The bottom line here, though, both candidates did make some very solid arguments, although it seems very doubtful that it's going to change anybody's minds. Back to you.
Well, we'll see with the new round of polling on that. One of the things that caught our attention was the reference to the Intermountain Health care made by Governor Romney.
Well, that's right. That came in the context of saving money in health care costs. And Governor Romney cited Intermountain Health Care along with the Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic as being successful at providing incentives to patients, health care providers, and hospitals for taking care of their own health and thereby driving down costs.
All right. It was an interesting night. It's getting more interesting.
Thanks.
It was.
Mike, social media playing a major role in this election.
Yeah, hashtag I love Big Bird, huh? That's one you'll see floating around there. Twitter and Facebook lighten up during the debate, and it's still going on. News specialist Jennifer Stagg followed the debate online, and Jen's social media has become not only a place to share information about this debate, but it's also a good gauge of who was winning. What do you see?
Yeah, Mike, absolutely it was. We saw a lot as we monitored both our KSL Facebook page and Twitter. After every single comment, Twitter would light up with opinions as they poured in. Now, we want you to keep your Facebook and your Twitter ready throughout this newscast because we're going to ask you another question in just a moment. We want your answers to chime in. But first, at the very beginning of the newscast, we asked you this question. If you could sum up the debate in one word, what would it be? And your answers came by the hundreds on our KSL Facebook page and our Twitter handle. Chris Merritt said rhetoric. That's the word that he would choose. Kristen Stokes said unbelievable. Rhonda Black-Tomer said Romney. Lori Crimmin said prepared. And Peggy Moses Heffiker said contentious. Now, as we show more of your answers, we want to give you an idea of just how active social media was tonight. Tonight's debate was the most tweeted about event in U.S. political history. Think about that for a second. It topped the numbers for the RNC and the DNC. And pointing to more memorable moments from the evening, there were 17,000 tweets per minute for Big Bird, and 10,000 tweets per minute for PBS and the hashtag debates. And we want to toss out another question as we get ready to go to John Daly. We want to know, what was the most memorable quote of the evening? We want you to chime in with your answers right now on KSL's Facebook page and with the Twitter hashtag KSL Live. So go and post your responses right now, and checking in a little bit later in the show, we're going to show your responses. Mike?
Yeah, it's been very interesting to see what people have had to say, not just locally, but on a national scale as well. Jen, we'll see you in a little bit.
Face to face for the first time. There were some memorable moments in tonight's debate. News specialist Jennifer Stagg has been monitoring social media. What sorts of themes are you hearing about memorable moments tonight?
Well, so many to choose from, but I think the number one thing that people have been talking about is the Big Bird
I was
moment.
just going to say PBS, yep.
Exactly, but literally within minutes of the debate starting, we had hundreds and hundreds of comments posted on our KSL Facebook page and also on our KSL Twitter handle, KSL Live. We wanted to hear some of your responses. We asked you earlier in the show, what do you think is the most memorable quote of the evening? And here are some of your responses. Sharon Wales said, "I've been in the business for 25 years and I have no idea what you're talking about." That is obviously a quote coming from Romney. Brandon Holyoke said, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Same quote. Kelly Kerbin said, "Mr. President, you're entitled to your own plane, your own house, but not entitled to your own facts." Exactly. You know exactly what I was going to say. Tiffany Massey Street said, "I've got 5 boys. I'm used to people saying something that's not true and just keep repeating it and ultimately hoping I'll believe it." That was also a memorable moment. Yeah. And Anna Beagle said, when Romney basically told the moderator that he was going to be out of a job, pointing to PBS and also the Big Bird moment. Same thing. Now, the general consensus among national commentators also and on Twitter is that Romney won tonight. Some have even joked there's a big loser, and that would be Big Bird, of course. The Twitter handle Fired Big Bird has popped up now and has nearly 20,000 followers already. And so we want to know what you think. Go to our KSL Facebook page right now. We have a poll posted because we want to know what you think about who the big winner tonight was.
Not necessarily Big Bird, but between the two candidates. It was a very interesting debate, and one that you could definitely see people taking sides on. So
yeah, and I think it says a lot that so many people followed this debate on Twitter, you know, more than the Democratic National Convention and the Republican National Convention.
All right, gentlemen in the studio, I'm sure you have others to add.